Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't be lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Story Time. I am glad that we're here together. Another week coming to an end. Great stories that we've read together. And we do have another special book today. And I'm excited for it. And of course, too, we'll be having our guest, Tiffany Golden, right here with us on Story Time. Thank you so much for being here. As always, let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. And yes, before we get into that conversation with Tiffany, we just have a few announcements as well. So remember too that this coming summer, well, summer is almost here, right? We're already thinking summer now. On June 3rd, we will be having Children's Fairyland Book Festival. So yes, join into the Children's Book Festival. If you're anywhere near, if you happen to be anywhere near us, this is the place to be. Come and join us, and I'll be there. I'll be emceeing. I'll be hosting this event. So come on out and have fun with us. I'm excited for this one. Many amazing creators will be there, including our good friend here, Angela Darton. Mark Barnett will be there. Sean Harris, so many more. So come and have fun with us. Jen Vedder, my good friend Jen Vedder, will be there as well. So yes, come on out and have fun with us. And remember too that on May 11th, 2023, Jack the Library Cat and Marietta Apollonia are coming to Storytime. Yes, excitement all around. But today, as you can see, we do have our special guest, Tiffany Golden, and of course, the brand new book, I Want to Be Big. This one is illustrated by SAWYER CLOUD, and it is published by Page Street Kids. A big thank you to them indeed for allowing us to have this wonderful book here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in this morning, and I will not hold you too long. Good morning to you, Chrissy. How are you doing today? And of course, Bolden, good morning to you out there in sunny and very warm Vermont. Maybe this is the time to visit. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Glad that you're here with us. I hope that you too have a wonderful day. Good to see you here live with us this morning. Absolutely appreciate you. Yes, have a wonderful day, as it seems to have already started out there in Vermont, where it is sunny and warm today. Thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. Chrissy and Bowden, thank you for being here. Good morning to you. How are you doing, Amanda? Where's Sarah and Nathan? Sunny Springtime, Illinois. Well, thank you so much for being here. Yes, it sounds like the good weather is rolling in all the different places. Thank you so much for sharing, letting us know how it is where you are. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. Sarah and Nathan, and of course, Amanda West as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Happy Friday from Braylon, Chad, Auntie Pam. Thank you so much for joining in out there in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, thank you for the reminder. It has been a crazy few days with the little things to do here and there. Sending it to you today, I promise, Auntie Pam. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Braylon, Chad, Auntie Pam, and of course, Auntie Anne. Wherever you are, we say hello too. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Megan, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. Ari, we do not forget you. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. And you're saying it is particularly sunny out there in Kentucky. Well, thank you so much for being here, friends. Absolutely appreciate you. Are you ready for our story for today? Well, it is coming right up. So let's get ready for that one. Join me on the other side of this short break when we do play our video with the amazing Tiffany Golden. So join me on the other side of this short break when we're back for more story time.
Hello, I'm Olalu Ogunyemi, officer in the United States Marine Corps and author of Crow from the Shadow. You are tuned in with my brother on Storytime with Mr. Lamada. Enjoy and God bless.
Thank you, Olaolu Ogunyemi. Well, here we go with our video for today. So please enjoy it, and I'll see you on the other side of this one. Enjoy the time with Tiffany Golden. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Yes, a special interview, special conversation, and reading of this amazing book, brand new book. I Want to Be Big. Yes, I Want to Be Big, written by Tiffany Golden and illustrations by Sawyer Cloud. Love those names. Sawyer Cloud, Tiffany Golden. And of course, we'll be meeting Tiffany Golden today to talk to us more about the book and, of course, read for us. And you know how much I love it when we have people here coming to read for us on Storytime. So please join me in welcoming our guest today to Storytime, Tiffany Golden, the creator of this amazing book. Welcome to Storytime, Tiffany.
Oh, Mr. Lamada, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
This is so wonderful. Yeah, just having you here. But also, like I feel like you dropped this book on me in like so nonchalantly, but also like, hey, my book is coming out on Tuesday or something. So how has it been to this point, getting to this book? How has the journey been like?
It's been a really wonderful journey. Like, I've had a lot of support along the way. I went to get my MFA at Spalding University, and I had a really great mentor named Leslie Newman who writes amazing, amazing books.
Yeah.
And, I graduated, and then I was like, they just helped me get the confidence that I could just put my work out there. So I started applying for things, and I applied for this thing called PB Chat.
Oh,
Justin Colan, he runs it, and it's like you get a mentorship. You get to hang out with a writer, and they, go over your stuff. And so
yeah.
I got chosen, um, and I got picked by Andrea Wang, who wrote Watercress and
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
And I was like, why is that name so familiar? Yes.
yeah, and a lot of other books. And she was just so kind and generous with her heart and time. And I brought this manuscript. It was inspired by anybody who knows me and my nephew. That's my boy. Um, and he's just so full of like life and energy, and he's just ripping
Yeah.
and running, um, and he's just his heart is so big and so
Oh,
bright. You know what I mean? And he's just
yeah.
so full of love.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
you just want to kind of like capture it in a bottle and just like let that light shine, like
Yeah.
wherever you are. And so one day he was uh he was trying to reach something. He was trying to do something, and he was just like, "I wish I was big." And I think every kid has said, "I wish I were big," or "I wish I was older,"
Yeah.
or "I wish I was grown," or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And then you get here and you're like, Party
No,
stinks.
seriously, you mentioned that in Zambia, especially I think around the time I was in the eighth grade, maybe seventh, eighth grade, around there was a song that came out, and it was basically like, "Oh, you're saying you want to grow up? Just you wait and see." But it was a whole song about just growing up and then wait and see. It's like it's not what you think.
Yeah. Like we had a song that was like, and Mama used to say, "Take your time, young man. Don't rush to get old."
Forget.
And I was like, "Oh my God." So, being a teacher or a grown up, you just have all of these like platitudes that you say all the time now. You're just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you just, be patient." And I
Right.
just, thought about it from his point of view, like kids that age. He was about 4 then. Kids are so generative
Yeah.
in the way that they see things, and everything's new to them. And, they're not jaded or like they're not bitter.
Yes.
so,
Right. Right.
so they
No,
have
for
like this really
real. Yeah.
fresh innocence, and
Yes.
just remembering that. So, I wanted to really capture that.
Yeah.
And there's this hashtag. You know how they have the hashtags, Black Girl Magic and Black Boy
Mhm.
Joy, and
Uh-huh.
just really celebrating
Yeah.
our wholeness and our fullness. And, during the time of like, there's a lot of like violence against black men and
Right.
police
Right.
shootings and things like
Mm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And because this book you're writing, this is, this idea comes up, but you begin writing in 2020, is it?
yeah, so it was like right after right after George Floyd's murder.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, you get to this place where you're like, I'm gonna have to have this talk with him. I'm gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to, teach him how to be careful. Like our family's gonna have to teach him how to be careful, how to
Yeah.
do all these things. And I felt sad that he doesn't. There's a place where I felt like he doesn't get to have whimsy, and he doesn't get to have
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a certain amount of joy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right. I
And I
do.
was like, he should get to have that. He should get to be whimsical. He should get to have like joy and think
Yep.
about
Yep.
adventures with Bigfoot, and
Yeah.
he should get to have that.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, no, for real. I hear you. I hear you
So
on
yeah.
that.
So this
Yeah.
is like an ode to Black Boy Joy. This is an
Yeah.
ode to the gift of whimsy and imagination gets
Mm,
to be included in
right.
our experience.
Yeah. What should belong to every child.
Yeah.
Like black children, black and brown children should be afforded that opportunity as well. They should have that. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And like just reading it, I mean, I was laughing here and just enjoying it. But I know that today, you're reading for us. So let's get into that. And then I'll
Yeah.
definitely want to come back and just have more conversation with you. And it's just I'm just so thankful, for community and to be in a space like this with you. And yeah, thank you for shining your light and really for giving us this wonderful book. And I cannot wait for everybody out there today to enjoy it. And then I would drive the book on this side, but you're the amazing voice today. Thank you so much for
Oh,
doing that. Let me just bring it
thanks.
up, and then I will go off screen, but I'll be right here with you too.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, everybody joining in. If you just joined us, we are reading a brand new book today from Tiffany Golden, and this one is called I Want to Be Big. It is illustrated by Sawyer Cloud, and we're reading this one too with permission of Page Publishers. Thank you so much, to the many creatives like Tiffany and many others that have been here that have allowed us to share so much amazing material here on Storytime. And I'm just excited for you to enjoy this book. So I'll catch you on the other side. For now, it's you and Tiffany. Let me see. All right, here we go. I am ready to drive. Yeah, there we go.
I Want to Be Big by Tiffany Golden and illustrated by Sawyer Cloud. Published by Page Street Kids. I want to be big. Bigger than big brother, bigger than big sister, bigger than mom, bigger than dad, bigger than everyone. Big. When you're big, you can mess up your room, you can eat all the candy, you can stay up really late, and you can reach the tallest counter. You can you can swim with the sharks. You can be best friends with Bigfoot. You can dig to the center of the earth. You can go to the moon. Nobody's your boss when you're big. Make me big. Whoa, I am big. Bigger than big brother, bigger than big sister, bigger than mom, bigger than dad, bigger than everyone. Big! Nobody's my boss. Yay! I can drive really big cars and jet ski the ocean, skateboard on rainbows, or jump really far. Being big is so much fun. I bet being bigger will be even better. Bigger than bears, bigger than trees, bigger than buildings, bigger than everything. Make me bigger. Uh-oh. I am big, big. Bigger than a whale, bigger than a redwood, bigger than a mountain, bigger than everything. Oh no, bigger is too big. Too big to tame lions, too big to wrestle bears, too big to windsurf with seals, too big for everything. Too big to glide down the slide, or get piggyback rides, or wear my favorite pants, or march with the ants. Too big to jump in puddles with Big Brother, or find terrific treasures with Big Sister, or sit on Mom's cozy lap, or Dad's strong shoulders. Too big for everything that I love. This is not how I thought being big would be. I just wanted to make my own sandwich and get my own cookies, do the things myself, and not wait for someone big. Hmm. Aha! Hey, I may be small. Smaller than Big Brother, smaller than Big Sister, smaller than Mom, smaller than Dad, smaller than everyone. But with a little help, I can do anything. The end.
Oh, thank you so much for reading that one for us. Such a treat. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a story for you though. And if my sisters are watching this, and I will tell them too, I was like, you better watch this. But if my sisters are watching this, my cousins, everybody I grew up with, those that were there was a time I was trying to reach up for there was a salt shaker and a pepper shaker, and they were the same. They looked the same. And so I was trying to reach up to grab one, and I could not. I stretched and stretched. I actually climbed on a stool and then was leaning on the sink and finally reached it. But then when I grabbed it, the bottom of it came off, and
Oh no.
all the pepper ended up in my eye.
Oh no. Oh no.
But that's not the worst part was I was in such pain and crying and everything, and I started to fart. With every cry, it was like, "Ah, brr, brr, ah, brr, brr." My sisters, everybody was just cracking up. Got to wash it off, but yeah, no, they never let it go. They never let it go. But yeah, no, talk about reaching. I wanted to be big.
Tiny Mr. Lamada. Oh no. That's hilarious.
But
I
you met.
that was a plot twist. I did not see that ending coming to that
Oh,
story.
yeah, no, I'll tell you for sure. But so this book, I mean, it's just so sweet, like you say, that connection, you feel it. What makes your connection with JCN so sweet, so like so strong?
We just love each other. I mean, we
Yeah.
just, he's the first uh, boy in a couple of generations. We mostly have like girls and sisters and aunties and stuff like
Mm,
that on our side.
yeah.
And he would just hang out. We would just sit there and hang out, and we're both kind of introverted. So we both need a lot of like quiet space.
Yeah.
And so we would just kind of like hang out with each other, and then we just, sometimes there's a person in your family that's supposed to be in your life.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
sometimes when you choose your family, they say well, before you're born, you choose your family. It's certain people that you need to be near.
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew how much we would need each other when he was like first born. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty divine. This is a pretty
Yeah.
special connection that we have.
I love that. I love that. And honestly, too, I totally hear you because there are, even with my cousins, the ones I grew up with, we had our teams, we had our bands, we all moved together, we all played together, but there were still people that you kind of just, if there were two away, it was that particular two, like people kind of paired off, and it was, yeah. But I love it, and just like thinking about that too. Um, you mentioned, one of the things you mentioned is just, like having gone through a difficult time in 2020, with George Floyd and so many others that, like that were slain, and just thinking about that too, like here you have this precious little one. So are you having the talk, or is that happening already?
Yeah, it's happening. We have to talk about certain things that aren't afforded.
Mm,
Like there's sometimes sometimes kids take stuff. You know what I mean? They want something and they take it, and it's
yeah,
innocent. You know what I mean?
right.
But sometimes, our kids are adultified or made to seem more villainous
Mm-hmm.
um, in
Mm-hmm.
something that other kids would be given just kind of like a talking to. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean?
No, that's so
Like
true.
charges might get pressed, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, or even in a learning environment, like some kids have certain kinds of trauma that don't allow them to, process the environment. Like, and they've been out of school and didn't have
Mm.
a lot of socialization for like a couple of
Right.
years.
Yeah.
And then when they get in, there's like all this pent up energy. And, I remember talking to teachers and being like, we just want to make sure that he's not labeled.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of,
Mm-hmm.
all of these kids are going through something. All of these kids are,
Right.
some have lost people, some have, you know, been in a unstructured environment for like
Mm.
a
Mhm.
couple of years. Um, and we're all learning together how to navigate this unprecedented thing. Like,
Right. Yeah. No,
and
that's so true. Yeah. No,
Yeah, so just
I hear you. I hear you. And both you and I work in with young ones, and we know what that extra conversation, that extra checking in, that connection with family and whoever like is involved in that kid's life, and just how that can have a bigger impact in their activity in the classroom, and just how kids present. I totally hear you on that. But also just as we as you've created this book, how has it taken to it, and how do you encourage that him to to be this whimsical, to be this joyful, and just
well, I don't have to encourage that. It just
yeah.
it just is for him. Um, but I did the African American reading
Mm,
that they do every year in Oakland schools.
yeah.
And we just had the ninth annual one. And I read for his class, and he was just like, "Hey, everybody, it's me in this book." And he was like fielding questions, and he was like, "Why do you think I was crying in the book?" And he was like, like he just it really
Yeah, yeah,
it put put a little straight in his back a little bit.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, "It's me." We took some teachers
Yeah.
his book, and he's just like, "I want you to have this book. It's me."
Mm,
You
mm,
know, and I think just helping boost his esteem in a way that I
right.
didn't think it would. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Or you
mm-hmm.
don't know what things are gonna do.
Right. No, I love it. I love it. And it mentions here that in your dedication, it says, "For Buddha, your big heart inspires me every day." Tell
Yes.
us more about that.
So, Jason, like I said, he's been the first boy
Yeah.
in our family. So his family name is Mister. Excuse me. But I didn't want to call him Mister because I seen the color purple, and it's like, you know, Danny Glover. It's like negative connotations.
No, no,
So,
no.
so I was playing with some nicknames,
Yeah.
and Buddha just kind of stuck. And I was just, how we always call him like Boogie or Booby or,
Yeah.
it was like, and then I was like, well, Buddha is peace. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to spell it the same, but it's
Yeah.
like this sense of like peace and love.
I love it.
And one day I was calling him, and I was just like calling him Buddha. And then one day he was like, what? I was like, yay, you finally answered to it.
And
So,
when you don't want that name, it sticks. Oh,
so
yeah,
yeah,
no,
that's
it's
my Buddha boy.
yeah. No, I love it. I love it. And thank you too just for sharing him with us in this way, in this wonderful way too. And I appreciate it. And I know too, growing up too as a, like a young boy, there were just so many times. I mean, like you were saying, sometimes you do things where like it's innocent, but it can, it might cause some trouble or something. But I remember at one point an uncle who I really like hadn't lived with for much, like a long time, but he was just like sat me down and talked to me in a way that nobody had talked to me yet. And I remember because I was in the third grade at the time, and he just sat me down and talked to me, like reason, and just told me all these amazing things about me that I had not thought about
Mm,
or I had not heard from anybody else. And from
mm,
that day, that minute, it was late in the, so I had gotten in trouble. And I stayed outside until I think I went into the house. It was maybe like 9, 10 p.m. because I was scared if I
mhm.
went in, I'd be at that
Yeah,
time growing up too, for everybody that's watching, like you got a whooping if you came up, if you
yeah.
got it. So that was the time we were living. So I was like, I'm not going in. And so I was just standing outside. But eventually, he talked to me and I went in. And from that time, it was late in the night and everything, but it changed the way I saw myself. It
Mm.
changed how much I loved myself, or realized in that moment, I was like,
Mm.
wait, I'm a lovable being, like it was just so much. And so that's the power of words, and just the power of things like this, actions like this, where at times we might not realize just how much you've done for somebody. But I also wanted to just talk about. I know that I know we'll come back to Buddha too, but I know that you've done publishing too. You've done self-published before, and now you've gone this route. What's been the biggest surprise for you, or the biggest change from the amazing work that you did on your own to traditional publishing now?
I think for me, um, it's just that feeling of being supported and had and advocated for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I find that in children's publishing, there's more of a sweetness than there is in grown-up publishing.
Right.
Um, so, people are nice and they're thoughtful, and Page Street, they have a wonderful team and really thoughtful people. And my agent, Krista Heshke
Mhm.
and Danielle Hunter,
Yeah.
they're just so like
Big up to
passionate
you all,
about,
by the way. Big up.
yeah, I mean, they're so passionate about telling good stories. And
Mm,
Kayla Tostevin picked this book because it was specifically about Black Boy Joy.
mm.
And, you know, I write more serious stuff a lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I thought that, my more serious works would be, the first things that I released. But I'm really glad that it was this book, um, because when you just love someone, like I don't have children. So
Mm.
it's been a very different experience, like
Yeah.
being this close to someone and seeing how they just open up your heart and
Mm.
you care
Mm.
about them and you
Mm.
caretake for them, and
Mhm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a I can see why people say like you should have kids. I can see why, because it's really life changing. It's
Yeah.
really life changing.
For
That kind of
real.
love
For
is
real.
really life changing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, I don't have kids of my own too, but the many kids that I have in my life, and just including two my own, my sister's kids, my nieces and nephews, are just, they're a joy. Like anything, like I plan life now with them in mind. Like if I'm doing something, it's like, I need to adjust my will. I need to do this. Like I'm thinking, what can I do for them? How can I, how can I station them in
Yeah.
life? And just so, but yeah, it definitely is change. It brings change for sure. It's something that just a switch that flickers. And I know too that the parents that are joining us here totally understand that. Please share your stories as well with us too. Just let us know how that is for you, how it was for you when those little ones came into your life. Because like one of the things, before I moved from Zambia, my niece was 5, and I think it was 4 and 6. So 5 and 6. And now I've been going a long time. And when I see now they're like 16, 17, I'm like, where did time go? How did that
Right.
happen? And I miss my little girls, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, so but yeah, like every time I'm just like, whenever you get a message, any message, you're just like, how are they doing? Oh, they're not feeling well. It's like, oh, how are they? It's just
Yeah.
like all these things, anxiety, the joy, everything in such a sweet way, though. Like you're saying,
Yeah.
it's something that I cherish. I'm glad that I have this feeling and I go through that with them. But yeah, I
Yeah.
have
Like one of the things that's really special is that Jason is actually my great nephew. So I've watched his mom grow up, you know what I
oh,
mean? And like this is like, Auntie OG, double OG, it's like this second wave of like
yeah.
seeing how he's like his mom, and like they look so much alike, and just like that whole thing, and she's super precious to me.
Yeah.
So like him being super precious to me is like this thing that's really wonderful. And I've always been like, I want to be a grandma, but I don't want to have kids. But
Yeah.
I would love to be a grandma. I was like, I was like, maybe I'll just like adopt some grown people and then be a grandma. And then turns out my niece has kids. And then I'm like,
And yeah, things have a way of working out. Have you followed this? You mentioned that you remind me of do you see the story of this woman in, I can't remember where it was, and if somebody out there listening remembers, please let us know. But a grandmother was organizing Thanksgiving dinner for her
hmm,
family, and so sent out a message, say, hey, like, are you coming for Thanksgiving dinner, grandson, and everything. And so the person that received the message was not her grandson. And so he responded and was just like, oh yeah, I'll be there, or something like that. And so then they started talking, and then later on it's like, wait, they figured out, he was like, no, you're actually not, not my grandma. And then somehow I think they sent pictures or something, and then she actually extended the invitation to him to Thanksgiving. And the article I read, I think it was, now they've done it maybe 7 years.
yeah,
Yeah, like it's been invited to go to, but it's just one of those things when you mention, like, relationships are just such a unique thing. Like, you can't tell
yeah,
where that connection happens and how it
yeah,
happens, why it
yeah,
happens, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
also just wanted to I know that you do a lot of work, like Chapter 510 right here in Oakland for us. It's a huge space. I appreciate it. And Janet, big up to you, like, and just, like, and you have just some of my adorables there, kids that I love so much. Napisatu already comes to mind, like, just thinking about that too, Aida and them, like, just how how do you give of yourself in those spaces? How do how do you find the time, how do you find the energy to give back in such a big way?
Well, I mean, the first thing is that everybody has a story, and it's
Mm,
inside of them.
mm,
And Maya Angelou said that there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you.
mm, mm,
And so it's
mm.
like giving kids the tools to shine what's inside of them because it's already there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something that's very special.
Mm.
And especially when you kind of grew up, how I know black people are not a monolith,
Mhm. No, 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 absolutely. But please
but
share.
there's certain nobody really cared what kids had to say, like when I was growing up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
stay out of grown folks' business,
Yeah.
stay out
Yeah.
of grown
Yeah.
folks' conversations.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, we had developed that amongst our peers where we would shine, and but it wasn't this exchange of like
Yeah.
intergenerational so much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No. And
So
like you're saying, you started that off with, like, black people are not a monolith, but it's so interesting, like, listening to you speak. You could have been growing up in my neighborhood in Zambia. Like, it's in my community. It's like, it feels like, sounds exactly the same. But sorry, please go ahead.
no, it's just like it's like we always have to say that now, even though there'll be so many similar things. We're always gonna be like, we're not a monolith, but it's
Yeah.
certain things too, like
Mm.
the culture
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
certain specifics
Yeah.
are area wide.
Yeah.
Like location might
Yeah.
have certain specifics, but there's
Yeah.
certain things that we just carry inside of us in our
Yeah.
DNA.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I
so
love it. I love it. I love it. No, thank you really for what you do with those little ones. And just also wondering too, another thing that I was thinking of was, not everybody that watches story time is a black kid. not everybody that watches is, a black person. But why are your stories? Why do you think we need to share black stories? Why do we need to share black joy out there to everybody, not just black people?
Because I think sometimes in the media, there's such a stereotype of what blackness is.
Mm,
And if someone else tells your story, they don't necessarily get it right.
mm,
And so when
mhm,
we tell our stories, there's a certain um, there's a certain detail and a certain resonance of what is real for us that
mhm,
comes through that people do need to know about. I love reading stories about other cultures and
mhm.
learning about new things. And then I learned certain ways that we're the same, and like how my black mama is like this other mama, or like
Yeah,
this other mama. It's like
yeah.
you might get popped in the mouth by that one too. You know what I mean? But there's
Yeah.
like this thing where there's was a saying like that you're a mirror for your own culture, but you're a
Mm.
window for others.
For others.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I
Mhm.
love that. I just
Mm.
love that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you too, and that's the thing too. I really appreciate you putting that for sure, and because there's that detail, that authenticity that only can only be gotten from a certain perspective, and that's why it's important that we have everybody share their stories. I really appreciate that. And how has it been? I mean, you've put out a book traditionally published. How has it been for you working with your publishers and putting out this book? And I know, like, just thank you. We appreciate that this book is out. And what has your journey been like with your publisher and making sure that we have these wonderful stories out?
Pastry has been like amazing. They want me to write other books. They want to know other things. It's like, what do you want to write? It's like
Yeah.
sky is pretty much the limit.
Yeah.
And when you transition from student to kind of like writing professional, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
Look at that.
what do
Yeah,
I
like
want to write about? Let me pull out my notebook and get doing some
yeah.
business here.
Oh,
So, but yeah, they've been very invested in what I want to do, what my next steps
yeah.
are going to be. And that
Yeah.
feels really good. That feels really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. No, may there be more spaces like that, that really push that we have representation in books, that we have stories told from an authentic standpoint. I appreciate that. And yeah, just thank you to them. And yeah, may we have many more of that. But also I wanted to just as we're coming to a close, just wanted to I think you've dropped so many, like just amazing things, little bits of, like just wisdom. But what is that one wisdom that you'd like to share with? Because we have little ones that are watching, but we also have, the grown-ups. And what is that? What is some wisdom that, that allows you to thrive, that allows you to overcome, that allows you to, to go through whatever you've gone through, hardships. I know last year you shared a big loss. And so, like, how do you go through that and come out on the other side and still find the drive in life? Like, what's some wisdom that you have for us today?
Mostly that there's only one person who can tell your story the way that you would.
Mm,
And that person is you. And there's the ability to take everything that you've been through, all the
mm-hmm,
hurt, all the pain, all the
mm,
joys,
mm-hmm,
and bring it out into the world through your words and through your art and
yeah,
through your dance and through
uh,
your, you know, whatever it is that you do, no one else can do it like you.
yeah,
And just as much as we may have had handed down to us some traumas or sadness or something like that, we
Mm-hmm.
also have had resilience
Mm-hmm.
handed down
Mm-hmm.
to us and joy and the ability to thrive. And it's just about remembering that. And if you can find a space to remember how special you are and that your light is the same as the starlight in the sky,
Yeah.
then just
Oh,
shine.
oh,
Just shine.
yeah, no, thank you. Thank you so much. And just again, a reminder to everybody that was joining us today. Thank you for being here. Remember to share story time. Remember to share the amazing work of Tiffany Golden. Find it at your local library. Ask for it. Those library resources are there for you. And of course, find it where you find books. If you have your local bookstore near you, please support them, right? Here in Oakland, I've mentioned before, one of my favorites, if not my favorite, is Marcus Books on MLK. Please go and support them. Support Tiffany as well. Thank you so much for joining me on Storytime today. This, like, is just and I just want to make sure everybody out there understands, like, for me, being here with Tiffany today is just something that just kind of like it's a full circle moment. This one
Mm.
the in having interacted with Tiffany so many times and then being here today celebrating her in this way is just fulfills my heart. I am so grateful that we are in community, and congratulations on this wonderful book. And please, may you be granted, all the strength and wisdom to continue producing such amazing work for us and being a part of us here. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for creating safe space for children's books to be read and stories to be shared, and that bridge when we weren't able to go to school, you held up a light, and we thank you so much for it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. No, absolutely. I'll catch you on the other side. Please don't go away yet. Everybody joining in, that was Tiffany Golden joining us today. Thank you for being here with me on Storytime. And now, yes, back to the live, but thank you for being here with us. And I'll catch you next time on Storytime. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm glad. I hope that you've been inspired. I hope that you went through that and just felt the learning, felt the love, felt everything that Tiffany was bringing to Storytime today. Thank you for joining in. And yes, may we find that joy. May we find that peace. And yes, 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 it is important that we continue to highlight, move away from the stereotypes of the media, and let's highlight the authentic people that are out there. Black joy, brown joy, all the joys, let's bring them together and let's continue to uplift all those people that are marginalized. Let's make sure that we're doing our part to make this a better world, a better place, indeed better communities. Yes, we can start with our small communities and build from there. Thank you so much for joining me on Storytime today. Always a pleasure to be here with you. Pamela Courtney, thank you so much. I agree with you. Like, Tiffany is just wonderful. The message she brings, the joy that she brings, we appreciate it. And I hope that as you go into the day, each one of you that is here today, and hopefully to the ones that are catching the recording later on, I hope that that gives you an extra oomph, an extra bounce, straight in the back, right? As you go on through the day today, indeed. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And of course, we tried to scroll through everybody that was here as well. Megan, and of course, Ari, thank you. Sarah and Nathan, thank you. Chris and Mitchell Adams and Bolden, thank you for joining in. Braylon and Chad, thank you so much for joining us on Storytime. I appreciate you all. Gabby, Lala, good to see you and cannot wait for you to be here with us on Storytime. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. us today. And everybody that is joining in later for the recordings, well, we send you love, love, love. And we hope that you catch us live soon. But of course, continue to enjoy Storytime at storytimewithmrlimada.com and at Storytime with Miss Limada on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram at Storytime with Miss Limada. And of course, remember to follow Tiffany Golden. Check out TiffanyGolden.com. But also, we do have Tiffany on Twitter at Miss T13. And also, we have her on Instagram at Tiffany.golden.13. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Please continue to send us your recommendations. Continue to let us know what it is that you like about Storytime, what it is that you may want us to make a few tweaks. Do send us those. They make us better. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Megan, you are very welcome. Ari Maple, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. This has been a fantastic week of Storytime. Fantastic books, wonderful books that we've read here on Storytime. Thank you to all the creators. Thank you to all the publishing houses that have allowed us to share these amazing books here on Storytime. And yes, to many more stories. I will see you again when we're back next week. Another great lineup awaits when we're back next week for more story time. And I hope that today you have a wonderful day, friends. Thank you for being here. And remember too, before we go away, that we do have wonderful events coming up in June. We'll be having the Children's Book Festival at Fairyland right here in Oakland. So if you're nearby, please come on out and join us for that one. And then too, we do have our lovely friend Marietta Apollonio has her brand new book coming out, Jack the Library Cat, and they'll be here live on Storytime on May 11th, 2023. So please do join us for them. And of course, I hope that you are enjoying today's wonderful book with the amazing Tiffany Golden. And this one is I Want to Be Big. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I am glad that we were here together. Pamela Courtney, I think yours is indeed the perfect way to go. And you're saying absolutely, absolutely yes. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I'm glad that we were here, and we'll see you again on Storytime back on Monday. Much love from me. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start our reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading. We just can't wait to be hearing